Nothing strikes fear in the hearts of cooks more than the word souffle. Well, I've got a few tricks that make my spinach and cheddar souffle come out perfectly every single time. I'll show you. First, I'm gonna make a white sauce. I'm just gonna heat up 1 cup of milk. This is really the base for every souffle. And it's as easy as making the white sauce for mac and cheese. I've got 3 tablespoons of melted butter and 3 tablespoons of flour. Cook them together for about 2 minutes. All you really want to do here is just cook out that raw flour taste. What is it about making soufflés? I always feel like Audrey Hepburn and Sabrina when the soufflé comes out of the oven in her cooking class and it's like a pancake. But the truth is, if you follow a few simple steps, it comes out perfectly every time. When the milk is scalded, but not boiling, so it's really hot, you'll sort of see bubbles around the edge of it. Somehow when it boils, then it gets a skin, it's a whole other thing. Just pour the whole cup of hot milk right into the butter and flour and just cook that for a few minutes until it thickens. And while that's happening, I'm gonna add some spices. Classic souffle spice is nutmeg. So there's something about it, it's just perfect with cheese. So about 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Just cook the white sauce on a very low heat. You don't want it to burn. You'll see it gets thick very quickly. Okay, and then little heat, just a pinch of cayenne, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Turn it off. See how nice and thick it gets? That's really just from milk and flour and butter. Okay, next I'm gonna add 4 extra large egg yolks. It's really important that they're room temperature. Just dump them right in. It's gonna make it nice and thick. Gorgeous base for a souffle. Okay, next the cheese. I'm gonna make a spinach and cheddar souffle. Gotta have good cheese. So I've got English cheddar, which has a really good flavor, and it's gonna melt really well into the souffle. So I just need about 1/2 cup of grated cheddar. You can use Vermont cheddar, good aged cheddar. That should do it. So I'm just gonna put it right into the white sauce. You need a whisk and a wooden spoon for this. Go back and forth. And 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. That's gonna give it some good heat, a little spice. Okay, next the spinach. So I've got 1 package of frozen spinach that I actually defrosted and then squeezed all the water out of it. So just like that. And then just put the whole thing right in. Of course, you could use fresh spinach, but it would take so much longer. And actually, frozen spinach is one of those vegetables that's perfectly delicious frozen. Okay, that's the base. So I'm just gonna put this base right into a big bowl. So the reason a souffle rises is the egg whites. I've got 5 room temperature egg whites. I'm just gonna whisk them up. I'm adding 1/8 teaspoon of cream of tartar, which actually stabilizes the egg whites and lets them reach their full volume. Start beating it on low speed. After a minute, turn the speed up to medium and beat for another minute. Then crank up the speed to high and keep it going until the whites form firm, glossy peaks. Perfect. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna lighten it a little bit by just whisking in about 1/4 of the egg whites. It'll make it easier to fold in the rest. This part you can whisk in and not worry about ruining it. The second part you want to fold in really carefully because what you don't want to do is deflate the egg whites. So I'll show you how it's done. Let's put all the egg whites right in the middle and then cut right through the middle of it and just fold them over. And just keep folding very carefully without deflating the egg whites until it's completely incorporated. Everybody always thinks you have to make the entire souffle while everybody's sitting at the table waiting for dinner. But the truth is you can make the base first and let it sit at room temperature for, up to about 2 hours. And then all you have to do is beat the egg whites, fold them in, and put it in the oven. And that's it. I'll show you the second tip for making the perfect souffle. Preparing the souffle dish. This is what I do. First, take a 6 to 8 cup souffle dish, butter the sides, Then sprinkle the dish with grated Parmesan cheese. This allows the souffle to rise really well. If you don't want your souffle to come out like a pancake, this works. Just very carefully pour the souffle mixture into the dish. Smooth the top. And take your spatula and just do a little line right around the middle of the souffle. It helps it rise evenly. Okay, into the oven, 400 degrees. Turn it down right away to 375 and no peeking. Now that's a souffle. After 35 minutes, it's puffed and golden and just gorgeous. Usually I don't like things that say eat immediately, but this is really worth doing. Now that's a cheddar and spinach souffle. That's so good.